Okay, welcome everybody to this week's version of the Gold Senior Gold selection call. So we're into month 3, I think. Does that sound about right? And we're going to the end of the year, and we're going to change. By the end of the year, we're all going to be different people in a different place in life because of what we do today. Okay, we're going to make some changes today. We are going to take a flag and we're going to stick it in the ground today, and we're going to make a stand, and we're going to move forward from here. If you're not willing to do that, just don't come back next week. Just quit wasting your time. So now that we got that away, this is me included. Okay, this is me. I'm not where I want to be. I have a lot of life left. I don't believe in retirement. And I don't believe in not being useful. So I have a long, long way to go, because I'm going to live to be 100. That's my goal. So we have 54 years of stuff left to do. So I have to keep moving forward for another 54 years. So anyway, all right, so we're going to get started. We're going to talk about some things today. First off, like normal, we're going to go through, I want to hear some victories. Didn't we have some homework last week? Does anybody remember? Wasn't there some things to write down? Maybe. Angie shook her head yes. Do you remember what they were?
I wrote, what do you want to feel December 31st, 2022? What emotions?
There we go. Anybody think about that? When the end of this quarter is over, the end of this year strikes, when our points are whatever they are, this is Plexus related, basically. It has to do with our business, but it could be anything. So on December 31st, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, my points go back to 0, just like everybody else's, depending on what time zone you're in, right? What do I want to feel? What does Justin Goff want to feel when that happens? Am I going to go into the new year on top of the world? Will I have accomplished what I set out to do? What's the emotion? What do I want to capture in that moment? What about you guys?
I want to feel like an overcomer. Like I've learned through the process, and regardless of where my points might be at the moment, that I've grown through it. I've helped people, I've changed lives. And that's, the process is what makes it worth it.
The process makes it worth it. I was just listening to something when I was running. A guy, if you've never heard it, there's a testimony by a guy named Inky Johnson, I-N-K-Y Johnson. Look it up and listen to his story. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. That's all I can say. I'm not going to spoil it, but you should listen to it. It's really good. And he talks about that. He said, I fell in love with the process, not the product. He said, I fell in love with the process. And that's how he got drafted into the NFL, or was going to be drafted into the NFL. You don't have to listen to the rest of the story, though, on your own to see what happened. But it's an amazing, amazing story. But he fell in love with the process. And that's something that we need to do, even in Plexus, is fall in love with the process. I had a coaching call this morning, and we talked about consistency. You can send 20 messages a day if you want. You're probably going to get burned out. I don't send 20 messages a day. But let's take like bite-sized chunks and be consistent and fall in love with that process of consistency. Over time, there will be fruit. There will be fruit. So, overcomer, you want to feel like an overcomer. What's that feel like?
I didn't hung up on like the things that when you would normally be like, I feel like I'm stuck. I learned to move through that and become more creative in that instead of letting it stop me.
Okay, perfect. Overcomer, that's a great feeling when we overcome something. What else? We got Jamie Keith says she wants to feel excited, accomplished, and content. What if we start? Okay, I'll get to that here in a minute. A couple people love Inky Johnson's story. It's amazing. I want to feel energized and ready to run the 2023 with momentum. I also want to feel pride in my growth this year, Carissa says. Anybody else? Those are some pretty good feelings. That's exciting to think about.
I want to feel organized.
What's that?
I want to feel organized, like I can balance my priorities and not procrastinate and get things done so that when I am not working, when I'm not focused on working, I can focus on the important things, my family, enjoying life. You know, I want to make work time, and playtime, and be organized and balanced with that.
Okay. I'm just writing some of this stuff down. So we got overcomer, organized, energized, disciple, balanced, accomplished, content. Anything else? Ready to run. What else? Okay. Well, one thing I want to point out, just in light of mindset here, in light of this, these are all great things. And these are all related with great feelings. Courage, oh my. We'll add bravery to that, right? Let's talk about bravery really fast before I move on. Bravery, let's just talk about this. The people who do mighty things in life, run into a burning building, throw themselves on a grenade, all of those things, those people are considered to have courage and bravery, right? They're brave, confident, there's another one. So in light of bravery, I want to add something here. What has to be present for bravery to happen? What has to be present for bravery to happen?
Fear.
Fear, exactly right. Bravery is not, being brave in our business and being courageous in our business or any area of life is not the absence of fear. It's totally opposite. It's doing something in the face of fear. Every person who's done something brave or courageous did it in the face of fear. They did it in spite of fear, not without fear. In our Plexus businesses, or any area of life, it's no different. You have to do it in spite of being afraid. I'm afraid of making a call. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of someone talking about me. I'm afraid of looking foolish. Okay, I have all those feelings too. Right? But if we're going to be brave, if we're going to be courageous, we still move forward. And that's what today's call is about moving forward. We've had 2.5 months almost working on mindset, working on some basics of the business, right? Through the 7 steps, I believe it is, through the Gold School stuff. We've done all those things. We already knew all those steps before we talked about them anyway, right? It's not like any of those things were revolutionary necessarily. We knew we're supposed to talk to people. Okay, we're supposed to share products. We're supposed to share the business. We're supposed to follow up. All of those things. Encourage, Amber says, to be able to do it scared. Posted a business post this morning. Exactly. You did the brave thing. And that is what success is. That's how people become successful in the areas of life, is they do it scared, even if you're fearful. The difference isn't the absence of fear. The difference is moving forward in the face of fear. 1% of the people move forward in the face of fear. Most people stay paralyzed by fear. What's a common theme in the Bible? What does it say over and over? Old Testament, New Testament, it doesn't matter. Don't be
Do not
afraid.
be afraid.
It's, yeah. So if you're afraid, well, welcome to the human condition, right? It happened, it's a result of sin. That's the type of planet we live on. I can't help it. I wish it wasn't the case, it just is. So you're human. This isn't some sort of special case for you. This is every person everywhere deals with fear. What will you do with it? Will you live a life that is paralyzed by fear? Or will you start moving forward? Because people who have succeeded have decided to move forward. I'm not going to be, even if I'm fearful, I'm going to be more curious than I am fearful. We're going to see what happens. Maybe I will fail. Maybe I will look stupid. But at least I'm going to go for it. And we're going to see what happens with this thing. Think about the people who flew the first airplanes, right? Kind of crazy. Thankfully, they did, right? So what about you? What about me? What about in our life? What if who's waiting on us to take a step forward? Do you know, when we take a step forward, even if we don't succeed, which you have to define success, right? Because taking a step forward is success, by the way. We get so wrapped up in the end product that we forget all the growth that happens between here and there. Taking a step forward is growth. Taking a step forward is success. And all those little successes along the way equals a big success at the end. It's not like we just get there overnight. It's small steps every single day moving us in that direction, and you will get there. But you can't quit, and we can't be paralyzed by fear any longer. We're not going to be paralyzed by fear anymore. We haven't been created for that. Our creator in the Bible says over and over, don't be afraid. I created you. I am with you. I'll be with you to the end of the age. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Let's move forward. And that's what we're going to do today. We're moving forward. So before I move on, what are we going to, any victories we need to hear about between now and the last week? Any major things happen? We had a business post, way to go. Awesome. Who else has any victories to share?
Mine is the coaching call I did with you this morning. I knew it needed to happen and I just kept avoiding it. So now it's done and now I have stuff to do.
Just a matter of doing it. That's why I put together a list for myself every day. I try to put it together the night before. Then I wake up the next day and barring any emergency that's out of my control, I just submit to the list. You know, the list tells me what to do. And so now I have 3 lists, but still I'm not bored. I have lots of things to do. So the same thing with our business, and we're going to work on this today. As soon as we go through some victories, we're going to work on setting goals. And we're going to go through a process that I like to use. I'm going to do it myself to where we are setting a goal. What that 12, 31, 22, we talked about what it's going to feel like when we get to the end of the year with our Plexus business, what it feels like. But now we're going to put a plan together on what exactly are we going for between now and then, and how are we going to get there. But who else has victories between last week and this week you want to share before we get started?
I do.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I got 2 level 2s, 2 level 1s, a level 2, and a retail customer in this last week. So that was huge because it's been kind of a slow year. So
I would say you've made up for it. That's awesome. Way to go. What did you do different? Did you do anything different this last week or not really? And by the way, it's not what you do the week that those things happen. It's what you do the weeks leading up to those weeks that when those things happen. So what have you done differently, Jamie, leading up to the fruit that came in this last week?
Well, there's two things that I changed, and they're kind of subtle changes. So I was really surprised because usually I have like 2 people a month ask me about Plexus, no matter what reach outs I do. I had 12 people in 14 days ask me about Plexus. And then I got all those signups. And I changed, one thing I changed was I did even though I was always doing posting and reach out, follow us and stuff, I followed Emily Gibson's where she says, 1 post a day, 1 message, and then help somebody do the same. And even though I do more than one of those things, I made sure I did that every single day, Monday through Friday, where I at least messaged 1 person that offered. And I had 2 of my level 1s when I offered to help them do the same, do a post and a message, they took me up on it. And that's how I got my level 2. And then the second thing I did was I just decided that I was going to show up the best that I could and not worry about what people thought of me. I'm like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be who I want to be. And I'm going to show up the way I want to show up. And I'm just going to do it. And it doesn't matter what people think. And so I think I'm showing up differently because I got like 12 people asking me about questions or Plexus in 14 days. I'm like, that never happens.
There you go, guys. There it is. We're ending the call. Go do that. So the thing is really, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You're showing up as yourself. You're not playing small. You're not hiding because of a story somebody else wrote for you. You're writing your own story. And you're stepping out and being vulnerable and being powerful, being courageous. And that is attractive, people. You talk about the law of attraction. It has nothing to do with a Plexus Lexus. It has nothing to do with Hawaii. It has nothing to do with rank. It has to do with you showing up as yourself. When we decide to show up like as ourself and be ourself and step out like that, it's attractive because there's a power there. There's power when you step out as yourself. There's no more pretending. And so that's amazing. You keep doing that. You keep doing that. It's amazing. Well done. Well done. Let's see. There's some other. Alicia said she's being more bold in conversations. Perfect. Keeping conversations open by asking curious questions and knowing that even if they aren't ready now, they may be later. Perfect. 3 level 1s ordered and did a reset. Awesome. Guys, I'm telling you, the reset is a game changer. I absolutely hated the first time I did it. I'll be honest with you, because the bone broth just was terrible. So, however, I just got done with my 3rd. I'm just being honest, but I just got done with my 3rd reset. I think I'm down 22 pounds this year, and I like the bone broth. Like it doesn't bother me. So it's really changing. So good job on getting people doing the reset. I think that the reset is I think it's a game changer. Amber said she messaged 2 people about the business and got crickets, but the 3rd friend I called wants me to call back after her daughter's wedding. Perfect. And you have that date written down, don't you? Didn't we talk about that last week? Okay. Just keep us posted on that. Amber says that I'm assuming she talks about Jamie, how her reels always pop up in her feed. Is that who you're talking about, Amber? Are you talking about Jamie? Maybe? Okay. I hated the bone broth too. Love the reset. Love the reset. Yes. So I just finished my 3rd one. I feel good. I love it. So reset's awesome. Any other victories before we get started on goal setting?
I'll go. I have two potentials that I had reached out to ages ago. First one I started sharing like 2 years ago, and she hates the taste of stevia. So she just could never drink the pink drink because she tried it before and she just not. And honestly, she kind of intimidates me. So I haven't followed up with her like I should. She reached out to me. I just finished my second reset and I was posting a lot about it. And she reached out to me that she is interested in trying the reset and she really wants a good probiotic, she said. But then she keeps talking about, I don't think she really understands the triplex, even though I've explained it to her several times since we've been talking. She's talking about, she wants a good probiotic if she can stand the taste. I'm like, okay, well, the probiotic is a capsule. The pink drink is something different. I've explained that to her, but I think she's like this close to ordering. I thought she was going to order the other day and she didn't. So she's on my follow-up list. And then another gal, I had reached out to her, just, she was like a cold reach out a while ago and she had a lot going on in her life and she wasn't interested. Well, she messaged me last night saying that she thinks she's about ready to get started. So I sent her information. She's talking to her husband about like budget and stuff and if she can order it. But so I'm really excited. I might have 2. I'm going for 3. I want those Nikes. So that's my goal this month. So it looks like I might have 2.
Okay, so a couple things real quick. So when did she try the pink drink? Do you know when that was?
That was pre me. Like that was before she had done it with someone else. So I don't know. I'm not sure when. It was years ago. I started 2 years ago. So it's been at least since like before that.
Send her some samples of the current Slim because it might be the old Slim that she took. It could be. It might just be because the newer Slim, they reformulated. I don't remember when that was, but it could have been the OG Slim they had. But it's been reformulated, and she may like this one better. So that might be worth a shot. The other thing is on the budget. When they mention budget, right? That's not a scary thing. That's a great time to bring up Fast Start Silver.
I did. I
Hey!
did. Yeah. I told her she gets a referral link and if she gets 3 friends to do it with her, she can get, like a few $100 in bonuses this month. And she said, oh, wow, that's so cool. And so that was kind of like how we ended last night, like late last night before I went to bed. So I haven't followed up with her yet today. But yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And there is a video, the Me Plus 3 video. So we're going back to the Gold School book real quick on these steps. Now, we haven't covered these in a while. We probably should, but this is a great follow-up opportunity. So you talked to her about the products. And then you mentioned the Fast Start Silver and the bonuses that are involved with that because she mentioned budget. So if you ever hear anybody talk about budget, that is keyword for Fast Start Silver. So the step 4 in this Gold School steps is move people to the next step in the relationship. So one of those things that you can do here is you can, when you follow up with her and say, hey, you mentioned, whatever, something about the budget. I mentioned going Fast Start Silver. Would you watch this video on that if I send it to you? And then you can find it's in your virtual office and you can send it. There's a Me Plus 3 video. Send that and it will explain some of that for you. So use that as a tool. That's a tool sitting right there in our virtual office ready for us to use. So use that with her on your follow-up. Okay, anybody else before we get going here? Nope.
I leaned into a conversation that I was tempted to jump out of. So I was just doing like my connecting, you comment on other people's things. And sometimes I'll either comment and then sometimes I'll hop in Messenger and maybe see what my last message was, or I might just send them a short like, hey, thinking of you, how's your week going type thing. And, you know, you don't normally get people that go deep. I got this girl on her bad day, I guess. And she just like told me everything that has been going on recently. And I was just like, whoa, I don't want to swim in these waters. That's a lot of stuff. You need therapy, you need help. And so I was just like, okay, so pray, you know, God, how can I help her? How can I, you know, be a blessing and encouragement to her? And I'm like trying to be wise in that, because I do not like giving people like advice and stuff like that. But like this girl, man, it was rough. So I was choosing my words very carefully. Anyway, through that, developed more conversation. She's also a type 1 diabetic like myself. She's been type 1 for 44 years. And she's having like kidney issues. Well, I happen to have a person on my team who, when I signed her up, she was in stage 2 kidney disease. A year later, she was perfect, and her kidney doctor sees her rarely and keeps telling her to do Plexus, and it's amazing. And he wishes all his patients would do that. That was like the only change she made. So I was like, I always get nervous, especially with type 1s, because they don't like people offering them stuff, because it's like, you know, cinnamon is not going to do anything for my blood sugar. That's their mentality, most of them. So I was like, you know, first I related, you know, I'm sorry you're going through these struggles, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, you know, I don't know if this will help you or not, but I've actually have a friend that I was able to help with these supplements. And a year later, you know, I told her where she was a year later. So like, I let her know it's a process. It's not like an overnight magic unicorn something. And I was like, I don't know if you're interested in learning about that or not. Either way, you know, no biggie, just thought I would mention it. And she came back and she's like, yes, I'm interested. So now she's on like our learning page. I need to follow up with her later today. And, you know, I've tagged her in some things, just kind of see what she's thinking. But that's like the least of her issues. She has a lot of like emotional and family issues, which we all have. But I was just like so tempted to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, bye. And I just decided to, you know, see where it went.
No, I think that's good. And I think that's something that if you guys haven't experienced this so far, you will experience it at some point, that when you're dealing with people's physical health, at some point you'll start dealing with their emotional health. There's a direct connection between what we eat and what we do with our body and our health. There's also a direct correlation between emotion and health. I just got done reading a book called Hope for Cancer, and he covers all that. The emotional aspect of cancer. It's very interesting. He's a Christian man. He's got another one coming out called Emotions in Cancer, and it's not out yet, but I can't wait till it comes out. So it's really interesting. But as you're really talking with people about their health and you're talking with them about stuff, things of emotion on the emotional level may pop up. And so be prepared as you're talking with things, because, you know, you're getting into habits, you're getting into patterns, you're getting into a story that they've been told by somebody. They're getting into a story they've been telling themselves for years. So, I mean, so be prepared. This thing of Plexus is not, we're not like, it's been one of the biggest surprises to me. So since we've been in Plexus, we are not just ambassadors or helping people with their health or with a business. We're like business coaches, we're health coaches, we're mindset coaches, spiritual coaches, financial coaches. We've done marriage counseling. Like it's like been this whole thing that I would have never thought, you know, health and these things would open up all these opportunities. So as you keep going in your business, be prepared, because and if they trust
I
you,
feel like that's how, like, I feel like that's how Jesus lived a lot of his ministry, was helping people with their physical, their emotional, and then that leads to spiritual.
Mhm.
And so like if you can get a foot in the door in a relationship through helping somebody with their multivitamin, and you're living your Christian walk, that's like a huge door for them to say, okay, you know, Christians aren't what I always heard they were. You know, they care about people. They're different.
I agree. I think we should get back to just loving our neighbor, and we'd see a lot of growth just with a simple Christianity like that. So when you start helping people with their gut and their toenails and their skin and their poop problems, and like it opens the door to a whole world of and finances, right? Mindset issues, overcoming, like you open a whole world of, like, I have no idea where these calls are going to go on Thursday. You might think I have a plan. I really don't. I'm like, okay, Lord, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And, you know, and so far we haven't run out of things to talk about. So we'll just keep moving forward and keep working. We'll keep working. So anyway, let's move on to do some goal setting. This is an assignment. And it's not necessarily an assignment for me. This is an assignment for you. Like, if you want to capture that feeling at the end of December, right? That emotion, right? That point goal, that rank goal, financial goal, whatever it is. What we're going to have to do is all of those things that you want to feel at the end of December, you need to start feeling today. Like, you can't wait to be organized. It starts today. And it's just one step today. You don't have to be 100% organized. I'm definitely not. If I could show you my desk, you would think, wow, how's he even find anything? And this is better. I've actually cleaned it up. But we're gonna have to, if we want to be organized and feel organized at the end of December, we'll have to start doing something to move us in that direction of organization today. We make a stand today. We don't wait till tomorrow, and we can't wait till December 31st because it will never happen. It starts now. If we're going to be an overcomer and we want to feel like an overcomer at the end of December, we start overcoming right now. Whatever excuse has been holding us back up to this point is over. We start overcoming now. If we want to feel energized right now. You feel tired, do some jumping jacks, get your heart rate up, right? Walk around the house, whatever, drink another active. I don't care, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just don't even put water in it. Just suck the powder down, go crazy. Like you do. I did that recently. It was absolutely terrible. We didn't have any water and I was tired driving. So I'm like, well, I'll just chew this powder. I do not recommend that. That's why in the directions it says to add water, but I got energized, right? I did something about it. I didn't wait for energy just to magically jump in my body. I did something about it. If you want to start, at the end of the year, you want to disciple your team, then start discipling them today. Take one step in that direction of discipling your team today. If you want to feel balanced, balance out today. Do something today that adds balance to your schedule. If you want to feel accomplished at the end of the year, do something that will make you feel accomplished today. Put a list together and check the things off the list when it comes to your Plexus business. Accomplishment starts now. It won't start at the end of December. It's not like we get there and we get to restart and then, oh, a fresh start. It doesn't matter. A fresh start starts now. It starts today. I want to feel content. Start feeling content now. Be content with what you have, yet hungry at the same time for more. Read Philippians chapter 4. It's the best personal growth letter ever written in the history of mankind, in my opinion. And he talks about that. He gives a diagram of what success looks like. I'll just read it. He talks about being full yet being hungry at the same time. So yeah, be content, but at the same time, have a godly discontentment. Know that there's more. Know that God has more for you. Know that there's more inside of you that you've been holding on to. It says, this isn't the Bible I normally use, so I have to look for it. It says, I know how, not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. And he goes on to say, famous verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is a successful mindset. So if we want to be content, start being content now. But at the same time, be full and be hungry. That's a perfect mindset that's a championship mindset. Totally satisfied, yet still unsatisfied. Because I know there's more that can happen. Be ready to run. I want to be ready to run into 2023. Well, get to running now. Put the shoes on, start running, right? We talked about courage and bravery. There's each one of us has fears that we're dealing with. There's no one here that is not, there's no one here that is absent of fears. We're setting goals, we're doing these things, we're talking about this and that. There's fears. Each one of us has it, but if we want to feel courageous and brave, we need to start being courageous and brave today. Today's the day. We've put it off too long. And we owe it to ourselves and all those people that have invested into our life up until this point. We owe it to them. We owe it to ourselves now, and we owe it to those that are going to come after us. So let's talk about goals really fast. I did post, I got about 15 minutes. I did post it in the, I did post it in the messenger thread. This is what I use for goal setting. And I think this is just a great exercise. It comes out of a book. I don't really like the title, but it's called Think and Grow Rich. It's not really a grow rich book. It's more of a mindset book in light of thinking. And this guy, Napoleon Hill, wrote this after the Great Depression. He saw that some people had a different mindset and had a different result from from that bad time. And he started interviewing them and put together kind of a collective book that talks about their mindset and why they succeeded when a lot of other people didn't. And you'll find it in there. So I'm just going to cover this really fast. And this is something that I do want you to do. I'm going to do it myself. You can come back. You don't have to wait until next Thursday to accomplish it, but just I would recommend doing it. And if you want to be vulnerable, you can share your list here. I'm going to put together in the messenger group, chat group. So the first thing is in this book, it's talking about money, but we can make it a financial goal. You can make it a rank goal. If it's a rank you're wanting to achieve by the end of the year, I would just use the points that are associated with that rank. So if you want to go senior gold, then 250 points would be the specific goal you want to set. If it's ruby, 500. If it's emerald, 1500, whatever. But make it very specific in light of the goal, and not just a rank, because a rank isn't necessarily specific. Points are more specific. Does that make sense? So that's what I would do. I would look at it in light of points. The first thing, a lot of this at the beginning is just mindset stuff. So think through this and go through. You don't have to do it all right now, but go to the messenger chat thread and look at this, even print it off if you need to. But the first thing is fix in your mind the exact amount of money or points that you desire. What is it you want to accomplish by the end of the year? What is that point goal? What is that point total you want to accomplish? It's not sufficient merely to say, I want more money or more points. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. So we have to be very specific in our goals. It's not just like, yeah, I want some more points. Well, what does that mean? Like, we need to be very specific in our goal setting. So fix in your mind the amount of points you want. Second thing is determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money or points you desire. There's no such reality as something for nothing. So what happens here is this is something you're willing to give to get it. Or something you're willing to give up. What are you willing to give or to give up to get this goal? Because to get somewhere we've never been, we're probably going to have to do something we've never done. We're probably going to have to make some adjustments. Number 3, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money or points you desire. In this case, it's going to be, for all of us here, in this case, it's going to be December 31st, 2022. That's the end, right? That's where we're ending this thing, or this goal. We'll reset it then. But number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put this plan into action. The common theme has been, we start today. Today, we start moving forward. We've laid a lot of groundwork the last 2.5 months. We've covered a lot of great things. There's a lot of great momentum going on with this group. And this group, as far as point growth, just to let you know, team-wide, like this team pretty much led point growth last month. So that's pretty awesome if you think about it. So create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Again, we start today. Today, we begin the feeling that we want to accomplish just on December 31st. Today, we begin taking the steps to make that happen. The 5th thing is to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money or points you intend to acquire, in this case, points. Name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. So I'm going to stop there real fast. So just a quick recap. Again, you can go over all of them, going over it fairly fast, but you can go over it in the messenger group. I printed that, I put the picture, I posted that picture on there. So basically it's going to say something like this. We'll have it written out. So when I went diamond, I did this exact thing. So it was in 2020 when I went diamond, June 2020. And I wrote this out. So I wrote down that I, Justin Goff, will accomplish, I will hit diamond, the rank of diamond, 4,500 points by June 30th, 2020. I am going to give up arguing politics and wasting my time doing that on social media. And then I wrote out a plan on how I was going to do it. I'm going to reach out to this many. I'm going to help this many people rank up. I'm going to do this many events. I'm going to help this many. Yeah, I already said help that many people rank up. And then I wrote it all out. And then step 6. Read your written statement out loud twice a day, once before you go to bed and once after you get up. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of that point goal, right? As you're reading this thing, like read it like you already possess, and like you already possess that feeling that you want to accomplish. Because you do. The points aren't going to change like you're not going to get to December 31st and the points aren't going to change how you feel. Your feelings are going to change the points. What you do today are going to change the points. That's how it works. It's not like we get there and receive the feeling. We change the feeling and what we do now. And that changes the result at the end of the year. So so I would work on that. If you need help coming up with a point goal, what is a reasonable point goal by the end of the year, I would be glad to help you. If you need help coming up with a plan on what that looks like, how do I put together an action plan on carrying this goal out? I'll be glad to help you with that too. Just let me know. I can do a phone call. I've got a lot of, let's see, even tomorrow I've got like a 3-hour drive to a soccer tournament. So the boys are riding the bus with all their friends. So I'm just going to be driving right up the road. So I might as well be using my time for good. So if you guys want to help with that, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be any time between now and next Thursday. But I would be working on this quickly. I would get started. Like I said, the end of the year is coming quick. And so, so I would recommend getting started on this and get that goal set, and let's get a plan together and let's get moving in the right direction. Some of you are already moving in that direction. You've already made the changes. You just need to continue doing what you're doing. Jamie, Keith, keep doing what you're doing. Like there's nothing more really to add to that. Keep it up. You know, so any questions? I know I went over that really fast. Any questions? I see some of you saw it on the chat thread. But any questions on that at all? Anybody feel weird reading it out loud? Anybody afraid of that? Me too.
It is scary to read it out loud
Ah,
because you don't know if it'll actually come to be.
is it that or is it something else?
I don't know. It could be something else.
It's a great question. Who's our best accountability partner?
Ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah. You start reading stuff out loud like that, that's a gut check. There's a lot of psychology involved in this goal setting plan. You start reading that stuff out and then all of a sudden now you got to do something. That's why it's a brilliant goal setting plan. It's the best I've ever come across. I have a whole shelf full of business and mindset stuff and all the stuff. This is the best one I've come across. You start reading that stuff out, you start getting down to truth, right? You know, you start getting down to your belief system. Like it's like a gut check. It's really good. It's really good stuff. Because now we have to start putting stuff into action. No more talking.
Can I add, when we chatted this morning, you were talking about make a plan and start right now. And I loved what you said, because you said it's not like a GPS where you just plug it in and it gets there. But you said to be an explorer. Like they didn't know what they were getting into. They didn't know where they were going to end up. I liked that a lot. I have it starred and circled on my notes that I took from our call this morning. So
Yeah.
that was a really good visual way to think of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not going to be a straight line. And some days are just going to suck, right? They just are. But as we were told in the Army all the time, embrace the suck. Just accept it. Okay, yeah, it sucks. Okay, and that's irrelevant. Of course it sucks. It's the Army. Like, it's not supposed to be vacation. So it's like, you know, when you set a goal, some days are just not going to be fun. You're not going to feel it. You're not going to feel like doing it. Well, do it anyway. those are the days that count. Like those, that's the test. Of course, when the sun is perfectly nice and the breeze and everything is going well, yeah, of course we'll do our stuff then, but you know, character is built on the days where you don't feel like going. That's where the grit is. That's where you fall in love with the process. It's not on the easy days. You know, you gotta, you know, some things you just have to just do them. And I think that's why it's important when it's being consistent. I think it's important to not necessarily set our goals unrealistically, like 20 reach outs a day or 50 reach outs a day or whatever. It's unrealistic. You're headed towards, if that's what, you know, someone's doing, then you're headed towards burnout fast. It's not a consistent, you know, it's not a consistent plan. So we have to just, you know, be consistent, keep showing up. Days you don't feel like it, but if it's a realistic number, then we can do it every day. You know, whether that's 3, whether that's 5 reach outs. I don't know, everybody's schedule is a little bit different. So let's see, any questions about, and a lot of this stuff starting now, one of the fears is I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, join the crowd. I don't either. Like, I don't either. Some of the things you just figure out as you go. I don't have all the answers. So you just, and some of them you develop as you go. Sometimes you develop a plan. Sometimes you develop your own system as you go, like, oh, okay, so that didn't work. Okay, we'll chalk that up. Oh, that worked. That was great. Okay, good. Or man, that doesn't work anymore. You know, whatever. So some of this is like we're creating our own story here. We're creating our own success story. So it's not like if you do ABC, then you'll get what you want. Like it's some of the things, everybody has different experiences. Everybody has different situations that will happen between here and there. And we'll have to learn how to navigate through those obstacles, right? So just be curious. Hey, if we go for this thing, man, what if? You know, be curious. So any questions about that goal setting exercise at all? If you want help putting together a plan or help with this goal setting exercise, then let me know. You can just reach out to me. I know a couple of you had in the chat. I can write your names down. And if you don't need help, that's great too. I'll just write it down. So yeah, if you need help, let me know. I'll be glad to help put a plan together. Or if you get somewhere on that goal setting exercise and you get stuck, feel free to reach out on Facebook Messenger and we'll walk through it together. So anyway, that's all I've got. So again, the common theme is we start today. We start now. Kind of like the guy who called me and said, I want to get in shape. I said, well, get off the phone, you know, and do whatever it was, 100 push-ups. What? Yeah, right now. And he did. So, you know, so I'm like, there you go. Now you're ready. Now we're ready. So most people won't. They're like, well, you know, but we start today. We start today moving towards that feeling we want to capture on December 31st this year. So hi ho, here we go, as Megan would say. Guys, have a great week. If you need anything, reach out. Stephanie and Amber, I'll reach out to you and set up a time for tomorrow or some other time, and we will get moving in that direction. Guys, have a great day. See ya.